Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be going over my 5 least favorite heroes in Dota. These heroes I also think are not good, so like don't pick them in your pubs as well, and I'll give the reasons why you shouldn't pick them and should generally avoid them. But yeah, I'm also going to talk about why I just think they need to be changed, why I think they need to be fixed. I don't like having them on my team, I don't like playing them, and let's get into it. But before we do, remember that we do actually run a website. Believe it or not, if you click the like button, you'll eventually get 50% off on the gameleap website. Not right now, but if you click the link down below, you can actually go check out the website. We post content there every single day that's gonna help you get to the next level. Literally, I make videos on so many different topics. I just started making an Invoker course, for instance. Before that, I did a support course, and you can check these videos out over on the gameleap website. You're gonna watch them, and you're gonna be like, wow, Speed, I wish I knew from the beginning how great this service actually is. Nah, I'm just playing, but it actually is. So click the link down below. Go give it a shot, and I'll see you guys there. Alright, so my first hero on the list that I'm not a massive fan of is Monkey King. So, I'm gonna call this the liquid hero. You know, it was really funny. I had this running joke going with one of my friends, and I was like, you know what? Monkey King is one of the worst heroes in the game. Ever since they made Echo Saber bad, it switched to Ags. Okay, switched to Ags. Maybe then Orb of Corrosion. Okay, it's not the best. Diffusal, nah. It only works on one hero and doesn't really slow with the monkeys, so that's maybe not the best either. So what do you buy in this hero? I don't know. No one does, because the build's always changing. Sometimes Seb is buying a hood and throwing from the offlane. Sometimes you have Mickey buying whatever he was buying, like Orb of Corrosion and boots and a Scotty and Satanic, whatever the item was, and feeding. I don't know. Every single time I watch this hero, this is what I take out of Monkey King and why I don't like it. It has a pretty good lane in the right matchups. If it's against Viper, for instance, it just sharts the bed. But if it's against a Tide Hunter or an Underlord, it can do pretty well. Sometimes. Because if the Tide's with a Mirana and you get gushed into an arrow, well, I mean, any hero hates that, but you get the point. It's maybe not as good as you think. Like, I don't know, yeah. Like, these dominant offlaners just can even beat Monkey Kings. I've watched Axe multiple times beat Monkey King because of proper Battle Hunger usage. Just kiting and pulling aggro and playing around Battle Hunger. And it works. It just chips this Monkey King hero down. And then my biggest gripe with it, besides the fact that it's an overall 47% win rate, which is quite abysmal. Quite abysmal, all right? It's, you might be only saying like, oh, it's 3%, but you have to consider that is in the bottom half of Dota heroes, right? It's way in the bottom half, right? Bottom 20. But my least favorite part of Monkey King is his deceptive late game. You would think he's got this ulti that basically replicates his damage in an area. Pretty cool, right? It's sort of having like a ton of illusions. The problem is, it just doesn't do that much damage. Like, it just doesn't. I watched a Monkey King. I recently watched a Monkey King against a Terrorblade. The Terrorblade with meta walked into the ring when Monkey King was full HP and get annihilated. And I thought to myself, how is this spell that's supposed to make Monkey King one of the strongest heroes in the game and give him armor not good enough to man up to a hero, another hero? And yes, it's Terrorblade. No Sunder didn't come into play. He just got annihilated. And I was like, what? And then Liquid picks it like 3 games and loses all of them. Hey, if you're from Team Liquid or you're a Liquid fan, I love you guys. I actually love the way Liquid drafts. It's one of my favorite teams to watch. I really mean that. But I just don't get Monkey King. I never will. I didn't. I saw them pick it. I'm like, I hope it loses just so I can feel good about myself. And that's what happened. Next up on the list is another hero that I get why pros are picking it. It's a flash farmer. It's a flash farmer from the mid lane. That's the meta. It's like, oh, we can't pick Templar Assassin, so we might as well pick Lina. But then we pick Lina, and what kind of ends up happening? We have this really squishy hero that's not nearly as mobile as Templar Assassin, and doesn't farm as fast as TA. Yes, Lina farms extremely quickly. Now, the hero has a 47% win rate in general, so it's definitely not one of the best pup heroes. It's very difficult to play, its stun is hard to land, it dies very easily. That's not really good for your average pup player. I'm keeping it real, guys. It's not good. Having an unreliable stun and dying easily is not a formula for easy games, easy wins. The higher and higher you get, the better I think Lina is. I'll keep that very honest, okay? I think if you're an Immortal, Lina's a better hero than if you're in Herald. But dismissing that point, I see the pros picking it, and I honestly just feel like people like playing Lina more than the hero's actually good. Because Lina, in some games, feels like the best hero in the game. When Lina gets ahead and they don't have proper jump, or they're under farmed because her team's crushing. Lena pumps out so much damage and has so much map control capabilities, right? She has some of the best wave shove in Dota, if not like the best in a lot of cases, just because of how fast she moves on the map because of her passive, Fiery Soul. And so the hero feels very dominant in those cases. It also picks off these agi cores that are very popular right now, such as Luna and TB. So I get it. I get it. I actually think the hero is a reasonable pick. I'm not trying to say, and by the way, you should never look at this hero and say, oh, my teammate picked Monkey King. You know what? It's GG. I'm not playing anymore. That's not a good mentality either. Unless it's SLARK, which is the next hero on the list. You know, I make this list, so I make this list on heroes I don't think are good before looking at win rates. Not always, but I did for this video. And I'm like, you know what? I really hope SLARK has like some 45% win rate, so I can really ragdoll on it. I kind of assumed it didn't because this hero is naturally pretty good in pubs, just for its ability to like go in and out and like not die. Also, the biggest advantage I really believe SLARK has in pubs is the fact that like it doesn't farm that well, but like no one really farms that well in your average game. Don't believe me? Well, you're screwed. You're not gonna go up in MMR. Okay, but yeah, I don't like SLARK for that reason. If you guys get better and better at the game, you will start to see this hero's weakness. Pair him against a freaking Terrorblade. You know what's gonna happen? It's gonna hit the 30-minute mark. SLARK's gonna be down 6k net worth, and you're gonna be like, huh, why did my SLARK almost get 3-shot by a Terrorblade when I'm a high armor hero? Oh, I don't know, it's because it's a freaking SLARK. And keep in mind, Terrorblade is not a high win rate hero in pubs. I believe it's a 48% win rate. Not that great. Right? Not that great. And yet I still hate SLARK, because if a Terrorblade player knows what he's doing and he doesn't run to the SLARK in the early game and he knows when to jungle, right? He knows his timing, he knows when to jungle, he knows when to pop meta in lane, which is not easy. But if you know how to do that, I believe TB is 10 times better. And yes, I do have, you know, it's easier for me to say when the pros are doing it, right? But I feel so strongly about that. I was playing Ricky in a high mark game. I was against the SLARK, and I was like solo killing him. Now, to be fair, Ricky, I would say, is actually a good hero against SLARK because you can't purge smokescreen. But I solo killed him. That was the game where I rage bought back. I don't know if you guys saw my tweet, but I solo killed him, and that was a huge reason why I actually hit any sort of timing. But I couldn't farm, and like SLARK can't farm. The only time I actually think SLARK is a decent hero is with Magnus, because then you can take stacks and you can like really hit these timings. In which case, I think SLARK is good. The hero's good late game. Which, by the way, pubs go late game, you know? You get the point. Okay, next hero, Beastmaster. Yeah, Beastmaster. Oh my, dude. I don't hate Beastmaster the hero, okay? It's actually one of my favorite heroes. I was playing it mid before the whole, like, mid-hype thing. I really love Beastmaster. My problem with Beastmaster is the frickin' item these fool pros are going. Guys, it's not good. I don't care if you're rank 1. You cannot convince me otherwise. Helm of the Overlord is not a good item. It's awful. I actually think this is the worst item in the game. No, it's kind of deceiving because you can take over this granite creep and give your team, what is it, 10% extra HP? You can take over an Alpha Wolf as well and give your team a bunch of damage as well. I get it. Well, to be fair, you could do that with just normal Helm Dom. Here's my problem with the item. Number 1, its build-up might be the freaking worst in the game. Okay, Helm Dom is decent. It's a good item, actually. I think the item's underrated. Ultimate Orb. Not good for Beastmaster. Basically useless. And then a 1600 gold recipe. 1600 gold! You can buy a Ghost Scepter, almost in a Glimmer, almost a Force Staff, for a recipe. Now, that's not to say that every item with a recipe is useless. That's obviously not the case. You could just look at some other examples like Swift Blink in the late game. Helm of the Overlord. It's so bad that it has a cooldown. A freaking cooldown. Please, Valve, hear me out. This is the way to change the item. You need to make it have 2 charges, at least. It cannot have a 45-second cooldown, because the creeps are not tanky. They die. A lot. And the Ancients too. Yes, it gives them a little bit of buffs, but they feed. They feed. And then you have to wait 45 seconds, assuming you just spawned it, right? More likely 30 if it just dies pretty quickly. And so yeah, I've seen multiple people buy it. It never looks good. I get that it gives a bunch of HP. You can get this black dragon. It looks really scary, but I just don't see it as even mildly good. And Beastmaster is the hero that people buy it on. And I don't know. I can't get over the fact that Beastmaster's tied to this item, so he happened to get on the list. Sorry, Beastmaster. And finally, last but not least, is the scum of the earth. And that's frickin' Arc Warden. You know what? I'm not even going to say that Arc Warden's that bad. 52% win rate. Hero. You know, I think it's kind of like bugged. It's a bugged win rate. You might be like, what does that mean, Speed? A bugged win rate? It means that the hero's win rate is higher than it should be as a result of the fact that it's primarily played by spammers, right? You think about a hero like Lina. Lina's a good example, or a hero like Viper or Legion Commander. People pick it because it's like a standard hero for the role. People don't really pick Arc Warden because if you pick Arc Warden and you have no games of Arc Warden, you're not going to have any impact. Now, that might just be in and of itself a good enough reason for me to end the video and say, yep, don't pick Arc Warden because you shouldn't bother unless you play 100 games, which is actually a good point. If you're trying to play this hero and you're only 5 games in and you're about to give up, my man, you got a while to go. You got at least a month of playing this hero before it's even decent. But yeah, the main thing I really hate about Arc Warden is just like how the hero plays in the late game. It's so lame. And you guys know I love split pushing. My favorite hero is Nature's Prophet. But Arc Warden is just something else. Like, Prophet you can defend against. Dude, this clone in the late game with this frickin' Tempest double talent that didn't used to not exist, it's the most frustrating thing in the game. Please tell me someone in the comments agrees with me. Someone must agree with me. This is the least fun hero in the game. It's like Aeon Disc, right? Aeon Disc also needs to be removed. I know this is completely untethered to what this video should be about, but I do not care. That item is BS. I know it's like, but Nullifier is a hard Who buys Nullifier? What hero in the game buys Nullifier at like the 25 minimum when all these supports are buying Aeon Disc? Nobody. Wanna know why? Because it has a freaking sacred relic as a build-up, and if you buy it too early, it's just a worthless item. So you can't like pre-buy Nullifier, and you might be saying, oh, but what if I see like a Vit booster in the Lion's inventory? But then you're spending 5k freaking gold on an item to kill a lion. Then what happens when you man up to someone who bought a Daedalus instead of a Nullifier? You get annihilated. It doesn't have a good counter. It does not have a good counter. Aeon Disc is not a good counter. It's not. And it kind of is. I don't want people to like stop buying Nullifier against Aeon Disc. That's not the mentality. It is a counter. But I just wanted you guys to have that perspective that I've developed from playing way too much of this game. And yeah, okay. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I always like making these videos. It's always a good time. If you disagree with me in any regard, I'd love to hear it in the comment section down below. Let me know which is your least favorite hero in the game and the hero that you think is worst. That's probably the better one. Let me know what hero you think is the worst in the game. I'll see you guys in the next one, and I'm out. Peace. And that's all, but remember, before you leave, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website, where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.